Hey guys, in this video we're just going to run through review 2 just so you can practice a little bit more at home. So hopefully what you've done is you've already completed this and now you're just checking over your work. So for the first section we're just evaluating for x equals 5 for all of them. So remember that just means we're plugging in 5 for anywhere that x is. So in our first one we get negative 3 times 25 because of PEMDAS we do squared first. We'll get negative 75 minus 5 more. So for A, we'll get negative 80. For B, you can distribute first if you want to and then combine like terms. That might be easier in this case, or you could just plug in. So it's up to you. You could do 3 times 5 plus 7 times 5 minus 1 minus 5 again. So I'd be looking at 15 plus 7 times 4 minus 5. 15 plus 28 minus 5. So I would get 38. And for C, 5 minus 4 squared minus 3 times 5, subtract 6. 1 squared minus 15, subtract 6. 1 minus 15 minus 6. So we are going to end up with a negative 20 there. Okay. So that was just evaluating. So remember when we evaluate, we just plug in. If you distributed and combined like terms first and then plugged in x after, that's fine too. As long as you got these as your answers, negative 80, 38, and negative 20, you did it correctly. Now in the next part, we're solving. So because we are solving in this case, we will go through and you could do one of two things. You could divide by 7 or you could distribute. So we were distributing in class, so we'll keep up that idea. So we get 7x, subtract 28 equal to 63. I'm going to add 28 to both sides. We get 7x equal to 91. And when we divide both sides by 7, we're going to get x equal to 17. I'm sorry, 13. Sorry about that. X equal to 13. Over here for B, we are going to get x on one side and the numbers on the other. So I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides. We get 2x subtract 17 equals a negative 5. We're going to then add 17 to both sides. So we're looking at 2x equals 12. Divide 2 from both sides. We get x equal to 6. And for C, again, there's multiple ways to go about this, but I'm going to distribute that 4x minus 12. We still have a negative 5 equal to a negative 1. I'll combine like terms. So we're looking at negative 17 equal to that negative 1. Add 17 to both sides. We get 4x equal to 16. And when we divide both sides by 4, we get x equals 4. So again, remember there's multiple ways you could go about solving these problems. It's really just up to you. But as long as you got those answers, then I'm banking on that you probably did it correctly. So that's good. Remember, I'm going kind of fast because you should have already completed this worksheet. This is just really to check over your work and make sure we don't have any mistakes or questions for tomorrow's quest. Okay. When we simplify these expressions, remember, we're multiplying these two things. So it's finding the product. So 4 times 7 is 28. X to the second times x to the fifth means we add the exponents. So we get x to the 7th. Now we have to be careful in B because we have 4 in parentheses with the x squared, which means we're doing 4 squared and x squared to get 16x squared. And then we're going to multiply that with the 2x to the third. So when we go through with that, we end up with 32, because we're multiplying the 16 and the 2, x to the fifth. Now, here we have that 5x to the 7 still. Remember, this whole thing is in parentheses, so that negative 3 squared is going to be positive 9. X times x is going to be x squared. And then we are going to multiply them together, so 5 times 9. When we do that, that's going to be 45. X to the 7th times x squared. We add the exponents, x to the 9th. Now, we want to rewrite the following as a product of two binomials. When you do this, look for the matching parenthesis, right? We have that piece here, x minus 4 is in both. So we're putting that in the front. Then everything else, the other two parentheses, are just combined in the other one. So we'd have 5x plus 2 plus 3x plus 1. Now we can simplify if we want to. We're going to keep x minus 4 in the first parenthesis, but then we just have 5x plus 3x to get our 8x. 2 plus 1 equals 3. Now in the second one, it's the same exact thing. So what I want you to go in and do is I'm just going to change that plus sign. Oops. I'm going to change that plus sign to a minus sign on mine. So if I do that, we'd still have x minus 4, and we'd have that 5x plus 2. But that minus sign is important. We're going to distribute that minus to both of the other pieces. So we're going to have minus 3x minus 1. And then we can combine those as well. We leave that x minus 4 alone. But 5x minus 3x is 2x. 2 minus 1 is plus 1. And we can leave it like that. Okay, then we're going to look at some of these word problems. Oh, first we have this expression here. So remember, if you have given this expression 5x minus 2 is equal to 3, we're trying to change 5x plus 4 to look like 5x minus 2. So I'm going to write 5x minus 2 first. Now I got to think about, what would I do here to turn this equal to 4? Well, we think we want to be positive 4, and we have 2 on the left side of that, so I'm going to add 6. Because if I combine that, right, that would be 5x plus 4. But I'm rewriting it so that way I can plug in for this x minus 2, and that's going to be negative 3. But I'm going to keep that plus 6, because then when I simplify negative 3 plus 6, we get 3. Okay, now we're on to some of the new stuff here with that given 3 consecutive integers. So we're thinking 3 consecutive. So that'd be an example of like 1, 2, 3, 9, 10, 11, negative 2, negative 1, 0. So we're going to make a let statement. Let the first of those equal x. The second will equal x plus 1 because it's 1 away. And the third will equal x plus 2. So it's like adding an additional 1. Now I have to read the sentence to help me figure out the next part of this. 3 times the largest. So the largest is going to be the third one. So 3 times x plus 2 is equivalent to, so I can set my equals up, 4 times the smallest. So the smallest is going to be x because it comes first. Okay. And then now we can go ahead and we can solve through this. We're going to distribute 3x plus 6 equals 4x. We could subtract the 3x from both sides. So we end up with 6 equal to x. So that means we'd have 6, 7, 8, which makes sense because they are consecutive numbers from each other. So we know we did that correctly. Now in the next one we have Maddie is 5 times the age of Connor, and Connor is 1 year older than Aiden. Determine the ages of each child if their combined ages are 62. Now I'm just going to get rid of child because I believe that it's going to be like person. So if Maddie is 5 times the age of Connor and Connor is 1 year older than Aiden, determine the ages of each if their combined ages are 62. So in this case, when we do our let statement, I'm going to say that Aiden should be equal to X. Okay, because even though Maddie's comparing to Connor, then Connor's comparing to Aiden. So we're going to use that. So Connor is going to be 1 year older than Aiden. So it's going to be X plus 1. And then Maddie, well, she is 5 times the age of Connor. So she's 5 times this X plus 1. So that could be looked at as 5X plus 5 when we distribute. So we put it all together now. We have X plus 1 plus 5X plus 5 equal to 62 because they gave us the total. We're going to combine like terms. We get 7X plus 6 equal to 62. I subtract 6 from both sides. We get 7X equals 56. Divide both sides by 7. So X is equal to 8. So Aiden is 8 years old. Connor is 9 years old. Now, this is why I changed that child word out of here, because now if we do 5 times 8 plus 5, we're going to get 45. So it didn't say anything about consecutive, so we're not worried there. Aiden is 8, Connor is 9, and Maddie is 45. So maybe she's a child at heart, but she's probably not a child. But we just want each person involved there. So that's what I was looking for, 8, 9, and 45. Last one, these consecutive integers have a sum of negative 22. So we have 4 consecutive integers this time. So we're going to let the first equal X. The second's going to equal X plus 1. Third will equal X plus 2. And the fourth will equal X plus 3. We're taking all of those, X plus 1 plus X plus 2 plus X plus 3 equal to negative 22. Make it so I can fit that on my screen. We combine our like terms to get 4X plus 6 equals a negative 22. We're going to subtract the 6 from both sides to get a negative 28. Divide by 4, X equals a negative 7. So we know X equals negative 7. Plus 1 is negative 6. Plus 2 would be negative 5. And negative 4. So you can have it, remember, negative, the most negative, it's a bigger number like negative 7. It's really to the left on the number line. So it's the smallest because it's the furthest negative. So we're thinking negative 7, negative 6, negative 5, negative 4. Okay. The only other thing I would make sure we know too is when you're talking about consecutive even or consecutive odd numbers, then we're adding 2 each time. So it'd be like X plus 2, X plus 4, etc. All right, guys. Hopefully this helped. Remember, there is extra help. So if you have any concerns, come see me tomorrow during your lunch. Okay, thanks.